And I had felt that I was forgotten. I really felt the Lord had forgotten me.
I was praying and I scanned in the crowd and I heard the Lord say that. I have not forgotten them. But when you're looking forward, it feels like this is never going to happen, happen. I ain't going to make it, Lord,
We had to learn to be open.
That experience really shaped us.
Those moments when one of us goes down, everybody else steps up.
This is going to be a season of life where you have to persevere.
There's so many things that we don't even see or know that God moves on our behalf. Welcome back to Lebanon House of Prayer podcast. We're so excited you're here. Welcome. Do me a favor, if you would you subscribe to our podcast? Yeah. You can subscribe many different ways. You can go onto YouTube and you can watch the podcast there on YouTube, or you can go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify. So if you would, take a second, subscribe, send it out there. We want many people to listen to this. But today, we've got Cody and Karinda in the house, here in studio. Yes. They are here all the way from Cambodia. Came over just for this podcast.
That's it. That's it.
Not really. They came over to visit family and are on furlough as missionaries. But we're so excited you guys are here.
Yes, great to be here.
And I'm excited you guys are back. So one of the things we've been doing here on our podcast is we've been doing this Overcomer series, okay? And you guys have been missionaries. How long you been? When did you go to the UK? How many years?
So it was July of 2021.
21.
Yes.
Okay, so 2021. So you got to get this picture because we're talking about overcoming, right? So it's July of 2021. Karinda, when's the very first time you felt a call to missions?
So the very first time was when I was probably early age, maybe 9 or 10.
9 or 10 years old. Okay,
but
tell us what you felt there.
So I remember it was because my dad has been a pastor for a long time.
Sure.
So grew up in the church. And so I remember being in the service, and the Lord brought, it was like a Wednesday, and it was missions night.
Okay.
And I was sitting in the back, and I remember hearing the speaker, and he was sharing his story, and I just felt a prick in my heart. And at that time, I was 9 or 10 years old, so I had no idea what this meant.
Yeah.
But fast forward to when I was 21 years old.
Okay.
This is 2014. So
2014.
2014.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we got
timeline.
Timeline.
And at that point in my life, I had come back from school. I really didn't feel like that was the avenue that I was supposed to take at that time in my life. So I was back home in Arkansas. And I had woke up in the morning, and I felt the Lord speak missions over and over again in my bedroom. And I was like, Lord, what's going on? I have no idea what am I supposed to do with this?
Yes.
And immediately I felt like it was going to be okay. I was scared, but then the Lord really gave me peace in my heart.
Yeah.
Mixed with thoughts of that I'm about to go to Africa and be a martyr,
right.
And different things like that. But
yes, those are always in there. And then I got to go to Africa in a snowsuit. I got to wear a snowsuit, right? It's like, what?
But the Lord really gave me a peace.
Yeah.
And
good.
I remember telling my mom has always been my biggest cheerleader, and
Shouts out to Melvin.
Shout out. And so I remember sharing this with my mom, and she just really prayed with me and really just gave me an even more sense of peace. Yeah. And to have the support from your parents is phenomenal. It's so powerful.
That is powerful. That's good.
But yeah, so that was the first.
So Glenn and Nola, right? Your mom?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I said Melvin.
Shout out parents.
Yeah, yes. They are phenomenal. So that's awesome. So 2014, so that's 21. So now when did you meet Cody? When was
So it was around that time as well.
Around that time. Okay. When did you guys get married?
2017.
2017.
Yes.
Okay. So you're still looking at 2014. You felt this call. 2017. Or 2014. You met Cody around that time. 2017, right? You guys got married.
Yep.
In 2021, you're on the mission field, right? So Cody, tell us a little bit from your perspective about missions. You know, when you met this girl in 2017, she probably told you she wanted to be a missionary. What did you think? Where was your heart at on this?
It's actually really funny. When we first said, hey, we're starting dating, the next day she jumps on a plane and goes to Bulgaria. And it's like, see you later.
See you later.
Now that we started dating, see you later.
See you later. Met it over the
And
mission
so
field.
it had its own challenges. Like, it was challenging in the beginning because we had to learn to be open right up front and out of the gate, because you can't, when you're so far away, you have to be open. Like, you can't just hide anything, or because it would destroy us. And just knowing God's goodness and just drawing us closer together through this experience. And so it was an adventure, that's for sure.
Well, I know a little bit about your story. So coming from 2017, okay, and then you guys at that time were living in Arkansas when you got married, or were you living here when you guys got married?
We were living here.
Yeah, you guys were back in Tennessee. That's what I thought. And so you were over here in Tennessee, and you're doing odd jobs, right?
Odd jobs.
You were working at daycare at that time?
I was working at a daycare,
and you were doing...
I was doing a lot of things.
You were doing a lot of that. You weren't doing dental yet.
I did.
But,
I was doing... When I first got to Tennessee, I was building swimming pools.
yeah. I remember that.
Yeah,
swimming pools. Cody could build a swimming pool pretty fast. He was pretty good at it, actually.
It was a team.
Yeah, it was a
thing.
team thing.
My boss, he was like one of the best. That dude go in there and dig a hole, and he'd be like getting after you, and you'd have to pull up in like 2 hours or less, and we was out of there.
Man,
it's too bad he's a missionary now. You cannot. He's not for hire, folks. Right? So 2017 to 2021. So talk to me about that season, because I haven't know a little bit about that season, but that had to be a hard season, right? Because you're working daycare, right? You feel called to the mission field.
Yes.
You're working pools. You guys are trying to figure out, okay, what does this look like? What does this call look like? Talk to me about that.
I really feel like that season of life, and looking back now, hindsight's always 20/20, right?
Right.
And so looking back, that was definitely a time where the Lord prepared us. He prepared us emotionally. He prepared us financially. During that time, we were able to pay off some of our debt that we had. And the Lord knew exactly what we needed at every moment. But I remember working, I was working at a preschool at the time. And it was at that time before LHOP, City Takers Training Center.
Yeah.
And I remember going there on a Thursday night. And at that moment, I think this was like 2019.
Yeah.
Or we'll never forget this, because it was just a marking moment for me.
Yeah.
During that time, was working this job. I was so burnout. And I had felt that I was forgotten.
Yeah.
I really felt the Lord had forgotten me. I was like, Lord, you called me. This was 5 years ago at this time. You called me to missions. When am I supposed to get this opportunity? When are we supposed to do this together?
Yeah.
And I remember being in that service, sitting in the back, and you were praying.
Yeah.
And you immediately stopped praying, and you
Yes.
locked eyes with me.
Yeah.
And you said, the Lord hasn't forgotten you. And that was just marking for me. That was
I didn't
just
know all that.
marking.
I didn't know the backstory. That's powerful.
And from that moment forward, okay, it's going to happen. I had hope again that it was going to happen. Because at that moment, I did not have hope that I was going to go overseas and be a missionary.
Be a missionary.
But
and I actually remember that moment, because I remember, I wasn't even thinking about that. And I was praying, and I was scanning the crowd, and I heard the Lord say that. Tell Karinda and Cody, I have not forgotten them. And it, you guys launched out almost immediately. It was like 6 months or something.
Yeah.
You guys had started the initial phone call. So it was crazy. So, but that's the overcome, right? We're talking about overcoming. And sometimes like you said, and I love how you said this, hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah.
But when you're looking forward, it feels like this is never going to happen.
Never gonna happen.
I ain't going to make it, Lord,
Yes.
But he actually knows what he's doing, right? And he's preparing you for the call that he has for your life. And so he's not withholding things from you.
Right.
But he really is preparing you. He's getting you ready, right? For those moments. And so I love that. I love that. You launched out in the midst of that. And I remember that. I remember that so clear. And so tell us a little bit about the journey. Has it been difficult? Give us some of the maybe some of the rewards, some of the positives, like, you know, this has been really fun. This has been exciting.
Yeah.
And then this has been the difficult part. I mean, one has to be being away from family. I know how
Right.
close both of you guys are to
That's very
family.
difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. So share some of the positives, negatives.
You want to do?
You want me to share?
Sure.
Okay.
You start us off.
Yeah, like you were saying, definitely the negatives has got to be being away from family.
Because you have a twin.
I have a twin sister. Yes.
Twin, and you guys are close.
We have a special bond, and as
Yes, you really
twins,
do.
like
They really do.
we have a special bond together.
Yes. Yes,
and she has a daughter, Harper.
Yeah.
So being away from them and being away from my parents, and just from this community as well.
Right.
This community
Absolutely.
is
Family.
different. So everywhere we go, we always are like, okay, we have our community backing us. So even with being away, there's also a positive with that, because we know we have a strong community of people who are praying for us, who are staying up in the night, who are interceding for us.
Yeah.
And this bunch is prophetic as well. So
Yes.
I feel like when
Yeah.
we have conversations with people, they kind of like, all right, you kind of are having a rough time, you know?
Yes,
and so
yes.
they already know. And it's just amazing. Like
Yeah.
the Lord's turning this negative into a positive, where I've surrounded you with this people because I will never leave you nor forsake you.
Wow.
And these people will have rallied around us and supported us. And so, yeah, really turning that negative into a positive for sure.
Oh, that's good. Cody.
Yeah.
I would say one of the things that seemed like a negative was like that waiting period. That waiting period was we was just talking about. It's like you called us, and now we're sitting here waiting. And it's like, Lord, why are you not sending us? But before we left, and we look back, and all the things we walked through up until that point, like set us so much freer to go. And it was just like we called it waiting period because that's what it felt like we were doing, but it was more of a preparation period of like getting everything, getting our hearts right, getting, just everything in a line. Like even our finances, like as Karinda had mentioned once already, and just seeing that we were able to pay off a lot of our debt and in that time frame. But if we would have just went, we would have just been swamped with all that. And it's like his timing is always perfect. It seems like to you, it seems like forever, but for him, it's perfect. And he knows what he has for you. And he's not going to take you somewhere and just, here, I want you to sink, but he's got you. He's going to raise you up rather than drop you down. And
Amen.
That's so good.
yeah, so that was one of the powerful points. And as Karinda has mentioned already as well, is like the community, like knowing we have people behind us, knowing we have a body, knowing there's people constantly praying, because sometimes people think like prayer may be the lesser thing.
Yeah.
But it's not. Like there's so much in that. And like Karinda and I and our team, we feel it every day. Like maybe when you're praying, you feel like, it's just me just talking to Jesus. But like there's an honest feeling of knowing you're praying because we see it, all the things around us happening, and like the protection as we talked about riding motos, and like it's so powerful. Like you just see it like come to fruition. It's just so powerful.
Wow.
Definitely.
And so those prayers are powerful, aren't they? Yeah. There's so many things that we don't even see or know that God moves on our behalf. So one of the things that was really cool, as you guys were launching out, you guys actually pioneered kind of a new type of missionary. I remember you talking to me a little bit about this. So share with us like kind of this pioneering, because when you think of typical missionary, you think of someone going over there and, trying to integrate into the culture, but you guys were pioneering a new program. Tell us a little bit about that.
So it's part of our organization, World Horizons, and this launched in 2021 called the Pioneer Initiative.
Hey.
So we were this is the first time that this had ever happened in our organization, because mostly you have either a single person go and serve or it's a couple go and serve, but this is the first time where where they trained people to go together as a team.
Yeah.
And so we were part of a team, trained as a team, and then launched out as a team. Yeah. And that experience really shaped us. I mean, it was a time where we experienced a lot of lows, So there was times where we were stuck in the wilderness of Scotland for 10 days where we wild camped and we survived we ate limpets. If you don't know what a limpet is, it's like a little shell that's attached to the rock, and you have to like scrape it off. And then when you get the shell off, you scrape the animal out. And
my goodness!
I'm
then
pretty
you
sure
cook it
it's
up and eat
called
it.
the foot of the ocean.
The foot of the ocean. That's the nickname.
Something along those lines. It's like the bottom of the
Oh my goodness!
So let's just say that was not a pleasant experience.
Right.
But in those moments, it really brings you closer together as a team, because who else are you going to rely on except for each other, right?
Yeah.
And I think those moments really showed us that this is going to be a season of life where you have to persevere.
Yeah.
This is going to be a season of life that's not going to be easy, but it's so rewarding when the Lord has placed a vision over a team, and then you go out and then you see that vision come to life. So it was just a blessing to be a part of. It was such a blessing. And for Cody and I, it really gave us the opportunity that we had been praying for since we had mentioned. And it just really gave us the opportunity to go and to serve and to go to the nations that the Lord had called us to go and to serve. But if you want to say anything else.
Yeah, I would like to just add, I always joke, and it's like before I went to training, I had no gray hair. Yeah. I came back from training, I had gray hair.
That is hilarious.
The stress that you go under and just the learning, and it was such a stretching for me, and just to see like who I am as a person and how I operate in a team was difficult, because I'm used to like carrying things, and I learned so much about myself, about how I'm willing to take a team's load and never share it, and learning like how do you actually use your words in a team and allowing them to come along the side of you and help you, because it's not about just you carrying the load, your team, and it's like being there for one another and just holding each other up. And when those moments, you have weak moments, it's like surrounding that person and getting in the stretcher and carrying them. There was one of the things I'm so proud about our team and so encouraged to share with others is like those moments when one of us goes down, everybody else steps up. And we had many times where it's like people either got sick or something happened, and it's just seeing the team surround that person, and that person being able to have a time to walk through whatever they're walking through, and everybody else is standing up and filling that gap, and it don't feel like you lost a person, but yet that person's able to still be there and be able to walk through what they're walking through. That's good. And just lifting each other up. And then when that person's back, it's like you're just surrounded again. It's like they never were gone, but they were able to just continue to like walk through whatever they had to walk through. Yeah, I'm telling you, the stretcher moments are some of the hardest moments in life. Is actually saying, I need help.
Yes,
I learned I have a problem saying that I need help.
Yeah, that's huge.
It really breaks off pride in you.
Yeah.
And like, okay, I can handle this myself. And coming from an American, we are Americans.
Sure.
We are very individualistic. Right. So really just breaking off that and really learning to rely on your team and knowing that your team has your back because you've built a trust together. You trust each other. Yeah. You've been through the hard times together. Yeah. And that trust is only built through the hard times that you've experienced together.
Pressing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. So good. Okay, so what we're going to do here, our 20 minutes actually has gone by. So what we're going to do is, Karinda, what I want you to do is I want you to look at the camera, and if someone, I just want you to encourage someone, maybe they're waiting, maybe they're in that waiting, maybe they're in that overcoming. So I want you to encourage them. And then Cody, I want you to pray us out. Okay. Pray for that person.
So the advice that I have is never lose hope. For me, it was a moment in my life where I had lost hope and I was really crying out to the Lord. And I want you to know that He will never leave you nor forsake you, and that He has a way. He will make a way no matter what. And so I really want to encourage you to never lose hope and to keep going, keep persevering, because your moment is here. The Lord has a specific plan for your life, and He will work it out to fruition. 100%. No lie about that. 100%. So keep going, keep persevering. It will happen. Opportunity really is around the corner.
That's it. That's so good. Cody, pray us out.
Yeah, so Father, we thank you for you never leaving us, never forsaking us, Father. You never leave us where we were, but you bring us to a new place, Father, and you just continue to grow us and stretch us and just learn new things about ourselves, Father. And I just pray that if anybody's out there, Father, that today will be a day of encouragement, a day of, yes, Lord, you've called me. Yes, I will go. And Lord, I just pray that we just get the opportunity to celebrate these yeses that are going to happen today, that I'm believing will happen today, Father. And I just thank you for this opportunity just to share our stories and just to share about who you are, Father, and your goodness, and through it all, through the storms, through the ups and downs. You're the same God on the mountains as you are in the valleys, Father. And I just pray your kingdom come here on earth as it is in heaven. And I just ask this all in your name.
Amen. Amen. Well, if you would like to hear more about Cody and Karinda, you can get in contact with us at LHOP, or you can actually go to World Horizons and hear more about them, or even reach out to them specifically. If you reach out to us, we can get you in contact with them. They have a newsletter. They keep people up to date. They have sponsors. And so if you want to be a part of that, even prayer support, they would love to have that. So thanks for joining us in the podcast.